everyone, and welcome to another episode of Building Diamond Fair, my Planet Coaster sort of amusement park thing going on. So today's episode, or in this episode, we are building, first of all, a ghost train. This ghost train is kind of weird because at first I was going to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fully theme it, fully detail it, and add all like the scenery in and stuff. And I thought, like, I do this with all my ghost trains I build in this game. I always go in with the intention of like actually making a proper ghost train. But then when it comes down to it, I realise that there really isn't much point theming the inside of it. Only because one, it's just sort of a waste of resources. Like the game's already lagging, and I haven't even like got halfway through, like quarter of the way through this park. So, wherever I can save resources, I sort of need to do that. And you can see here, like I started building like supports and stuff for the track. I wanted to like make it look like really realistic inside, but then like when it comes to then actually building the building around it and stuff, it's quite hard, especially because it's in such a tight space. So I didn't end up doing the theming for the inside of it, so it's just going to be in like a big building. The idea behind the actual ride itself is it's based in like a hotel. So like what I want to do, which I'm not 100% sure if I will do, but I want to build like an actual hotel on top of this ride. So like the ride is going to be like something hotel themed with a name like with a hotel theme sort of thing. I haven't thought of a name for it yet. But those like crazy houses you get, those fun houses. You get like a fun house but a ride instead of a fun house, so it's not like a dark like a haunted one. It's just like a fun ride, a fun dark ride. So that's sort of the plan. That was the plan for this one. Like I said, the inside's not actually themed, so that doesn't really convey in the inside. Like you can't see that theme going on the inside, but the outside is just supposed to look like a little bit like a weird sort of hotel, sort of like an Art Deco style hotel. And as this advances, you'll sort of see that come together, and sort of show what I was trying to build in my mind. Like it sort of comes across in this build. We get the ghost train mostly done. Like I said, I do want to go ahead and eventually probably build a hotel on top of it. I just think it'd be quite cool to have like a hotel in the middle of the park. So it almost becomes like a resort instead of just a theme park. So I think the hotel would be quite a cool place to have a hotel, because again it works with the idea that I want to fit everything into a small space, like having, so basically in one area you've got a queue line underneath it, you've got a ride on top of that, and then you're going to have a hotel on top of the ride. In terms of like the timeline of the park, it doesn't really make sense because the hotel and the dark ride probably would have come before the roller coaster, the green roller coaster you can see in the background. So in the timeline sense, it probably doesn't make too much sense, because if you're going to build a hotel, if you're going to build like a hotel and a dark ride, you'd build those. If you're going to build a dark ride underneath a hotel, you'd probably build those together. But then they've got the queue line for the ride, which is like sort of dug into the hotel's foundations, which I don't know how realistic that would be. I don't know if it'd be possible to sort of build a queue line into the foundations of a building, but something tells me that probably isn't too feasible in real life. So in terms of realism and in terms of like the timeline of the park, it sort of clashes there. So I think maybe the ghost train is like a newer ghost train. I know it's not ghost train, sorry, the dark ride I should call it. Maybe the dark ride is a newer dark ride and the hotel is like a newer hotel build. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it, like the sort of style that the hotel ends up looking like. It doesn't really seem like it would come after the roller coaster, but like the roller coaster probably is like what, 2009 2010 sort of time, whereas the hotel looks like it's from something out of like the 80s. But so that's it, again, like I say, timeline, it doesn't make too much sense, but I just think it's really cool to have everything tightly packed in, so I'm sort of just skipping over that sort of aspect and just sort of ignoring it really, which I know isn't great, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And then I was going to build like the queue line for the ride inside, but I've actually changed my mind. I'm going to make it like a garden area, like have it outside, which is like with just like a simple cover. But here at first I was going to make like the building massive with like an indoor queue line and stuff, but that doesn't stay. I get rid of those walls around it, and you can see again it's quite. I love this piece, this oblong rectangle shaped piece. It's just a white column, a white wooden column, and I use it pretty much for everything. I just think it's a really cool piece. It's just very versatile. You can do a lot of things with it. You could probably build like a whole building with just that individual piece, and it would still look pretty cool. But like a lot of these buildings in this park, like I say, are very simple because it is an amusement park. They don't need to be highly themed and stuff. But I do want to do like some sort of like architectural things where just you break up the design a bit, so it's not everything's like really blocky and boring. But at the same time, nothing has got insane detail on it, and it doesn't have to fit any like specific theme really. The buildings just have to look sort of Art Deco-y, like from a certain time period, I guess. Which is as we go, and also quite cheap looking as well. Like obviously, when you're building loads and loads of buildings, like you want to save costs on materials and stuff. So yeah, the buildings need to look quite cheap because it is an amusement park, I think, in the end of the day. And amusement parks don't have a lot of money. They don't make loads of profit, so it's quite hard for them to sort of build really extravagant, expensive things. But this, like I say all that, but the hotel, I think the hotel does still look quite cool. It's still got like some interesting design elements. And it doesn't even get done in this episode, actually. In fact, we only really built the base of it for like the dark ride. The hotel is something I'm going to look at properly in like a forthcoming episode where we actually build like. I'm thinking maybe like I'll kit out just one of the rooms, like so you can like have a look at like what the room style would be like. But I don't know. Again, that depends on resources and stuff, and like finding the right objects to actually build like a hotel room. But I want to do like one. I want to do like all the rooms with maybe just like normal windows, like just windows you can't see through, where the balconies are and stuff, and then maybe just one window where you can actually see through it, like so you can actually see what's going on inside one of the rooms, just so you get an idea of what the rooms are like. But I don't know. That's just something that I had in my mind. I probably won't end up. I don't know. It's just one of those things that might happen if I feel like it's necessary. So yeah, like I said, we're still building this building, making the most of this white piece, this white oblong rectangle wooden column thing. Like I said, it's very versatile. Like I use it everywhere. You can see like the amount of times I've used it in this park. It works really well for just trimming buildings, and by trimming I mean just like, adding these like white sort of just the trims of the building. They just make the buildings look more interesting to look at, and they just break up like the boringness of just a plain sort of dark green wall. So yeah, that's why they're there really. And I do that with all my buildings. I just add like when you look at any real life building, you'll see like trims and stuff just to make that building look a little bit more interesting. And a lot of people go into a lot more detail with this sort of stuff. Like if you watch some other YouTubers on Planet Coaster, they go into insane amount of detail into just like little aspects of their buildings and stuff. But that unfortunately that's not really me. I don't like spending loads and loads of time just tweaking everything. I like to build something and move on with the next thing. And talking of building something and moving on to the next thing, you can see here we're putting in a 4D coaster. And with this park, I want like really unique roller coasters. So I don't want to have like a B&M or like any Intamins. I want stuff that I want really good rides, but just stuff that you don't find like often. So like there's only like 3 or 4 of these in the world, the 4D coasters, the Arrow ones, and this would probably be an S&S one. This is like more of a modern one. You can see I had to delete it and I had to restart that out because it didn't really fit in that area. But the layout we eventually get, I was actually quite pleased with. You'll see it takes a couple of like attempts to get it perfect, and obviously this thing's going to be like custom supported and stuff, so it's going to look good hopefully, and it's going to fit into the area nicely. I want it to go like underground. The first stop's going to like dive into a tunnel or some sort of building, and then this first element I make, it's almost like a half loop / 0G roll. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but instead of just going around like halfway, it does a full 360 rotation off the back of the half loop, which is quite cool. I thought that was, and in terms of smoothness of the roller coaster, like I've said it quite a few times before, my roller coaster building skills in this game are not amazing. I don't have the patience for it. I'm a pretty impatient person in general. So in terms of like getting smooth roller coasters, I mean it's alright, it's serviceable. Like it rides okay. I haven't done the seat rotations or anything, but from what I've like tested out of it, it doesn't ride too badly. But it's still like I say, my roller coaster building skills in this game are nothing in comparison to other people who can build very very smooth roller coasters. I mean the game doesn't help. Obviously the game has its like faults in terms of roller coaster building with smoothness and banking and like heartlining the rides and stuff. It's quite hard. It's very time consuming to get a result that still doesn't look amazing. Like I compare it to No Limits in the sense that whereas in No Limits you can, especially with FVD, you can probably put like 2 or 3 hours into a layout and get something still very like pretty good. Whereas with this, you put 2 or 3 hours into a layout, and I don't do that personally, but people do, and you're still getting like pretty janky track and just elements that look a bit weird. So for me, it's like weighing up whether it's worth spending 2 or 3 hours on a track or just sort of, just building something that looks good from off-ride, and obviously it might not run as smooth as like it could do, but still looks okay and still rides okay. Talking about the supports as well. I'm doing the supports a little bit different to what you normally find on a 4D coaster. The supports are quite similar, but this is like a newer generation one. Like you'll see with some of the elements I end up building, like they're a little bit more modern than you'd find on the old 4D coasters. They're a bit more experimental. So I thought as well, like especially with the park being really like jam packed, I thought maybe just do a 45-degree lift hill to sort of fit it in a little bit better. And then like this weird sort of lift, like you find it on Giga coasters that they have this weird support underneath the track which holds up a lot of the lift hill. And I thought that would just be a good way to like sort of save on parts and stuff and just make the support structure a bit more efficient. I still feel like it'd be serviceable. I still feel like the support structure would work. I feel like there'd be like enough strength there to hold up the ride. And then here you go. You can see now that I'm going on to more of the track layout. So this is the first iteration of the track layout, which I don't actually keep. You'll see like, okay, so it's like a 0G roll here, which doesn't look that good. It's like it's a different 0G roll. It comes in from like the inside and then goes on the outside. You know, it's like I said, this ride's going to feature very like sort of modern elements, not just like your standard 0G rolls and your standard half loops and your standard, you know, dive loops or whatever. These are going to be more. These elements are going to just, you know, a lot of modern coasters you'll see, like especially like the new Intamins coming out, RMC especially. They're really like pushing the envelope in terms of elements. They're not just doing like your standard loops anymore, or your standard dive loops or your standard 0G rolls. They're adding different banking into those 0G rolls. They're extending the amount of time you're upside down, and like there are some really interesting things that people like the companies are doing with elements which are crazy, which before people just never really thought would be like either comfortable or safe. But with the introduction of like force vector design and whatever real companies use, I assume they have their own software to build their layouts, but with force vector design it's very easy to like build like roller coaster. Obviously I know I'm coming off I'm going off a bit off topic here in terms of talking about roller coaster building, but yeah, with programs like force vector design, you're able to build just layouts that before were never possible, and then they remain safe, and they're just like, yeah, it's just pretty crazy what can be achieved today, like these days, of a roller coaster. So yeah, you can see here I've now finished the layout, my first attempt at this layout, which I didn't really like at all, and which is why I quickly went back and changed it. But before I do that, we do add some more support. So I wanted to add, the only supports we get done in this episode is just for the first lift hill and the first drop, which you can see I'm doing here. And the great thing about Planet Coaster is support building actually isn't too hard. I always used to hate building supports in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I just thought it was so time consuming, but it had to be done to make your roller coasters look decent. Whereas in Planet Coaster, with like the copy and paste functions, and you know, just being able to duplicate buildings and stuff, it just makes the whole process of building like big support structures very easy and not as time consuming, which like it's sort of motivation in a way, because a lot of the time with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, my motivation would be lost in having like built quite a cool layout, having to know that I had to support it. So yeah, in terms of Planet Coaster, the supporting I find actually it's almost fun in a way, because you can build some really cool structures with it. And yeah, so you can see here, sorry, I'm going back through the layout again. I was going to first of all make it go like intertwine with the rest of the park, but like, then I realised that wasn't really going to work. There wasn't enough space for it, so instead it's sort of confined to its own section. So it's a very compact roller coaster, especially for such a big roller coaster. I think it's like 50 meters tall. It ends up being a very compact layout, and you can see sorry, the camera's shaking tremendously at the moment whilst I'm obviously just going in game and just looking around the track layout to make sure it's alright. But yeah, so like I said, the actual layout itself for the ride is very, very compact. For a 4D coaster especially, like it fits into a very tight space, which is quite cool, because obviously that's what I'm trying to do, but at the same time I think it is realistic. If I could have the chance to sort of build it in maybe like No Limits or something, I could like, yeah, if I rebuilt this or recreated it in No Limits, you'd see like a really good result. You'd see like a realistic 4D coaster. So yeah, but in terms of Planet Coaster, I think it's turned out quite well. And then yeah, just to finish off the layout, I did like the sort of double drop, which I thought would be quite fun on a 4D coaster, especially with all the other craziness going around. To experience a double drop would just be insane. And then yeah, I finished the layout with like a half loop, and you know, got all done. And that was sort of it for this episode. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll be back just in a second to talk about what we've got to clean up later. It's like I can't sort of finish one thing before moving on to the next, so there is lots to clean up here in terms of still loads of supports to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this 0G roll in terms of supports, because that seems a little bit unsupported at the moment, so I need to add like some sort of support structure over the top of it to make sure it looks like it's properly supported, and then I need to finish off the supports for the last part of the layout, which haven't been done yet, but I'll get onto those. Hopefully I'll get those all done. I want to get some stuff cleaned up next episode, so that'll probably be what the focus is on the next episode. So but yeah, like I said, I've left myself with a lot to do here, but I will get it done. So yeah, the first thing we obviously did was this hotel dark ride. Hasn't got a name yet. The poster, the logo for the ride will go up here somewhere when I can think of something. But this, like I said, this isn't themed inside or anything. In fact, we can just go and put it over the top. And like I said, with building the building around it, like because of the wall pieces in Planet Coaster, they don't have half wall pieces. They only have 4 meter wide wall pieces. So like it's quite hard to build like a building without having to like put walls on the track and stuff. And you can just see the whole place is an absolute mess inside. So this will just be covered up, and you won't actually get to see inside it at all. And that was, I know that wasn't what I originally intended to do, but I just think in terms of just saving like resources and things like that, I just think it's the best way to go about it. But yeah, so I added like one of those like common features you see in Dark Ride where on Ghost Trains, where the train comes out and it dips down a little bit. And then yeah, you just sort of you go on different levels and stuff, you go around. It's almost like a little roller coaster in some places, because the car sort of coasts when it goes down the drop and speeds up and stuff, which is quite cool. But yeah, so that's it really for the Ghost Train. It's not done. The roof of the building obviously isn't done, and that's where the hotel, I intend to build a hotel. I need to work out where I'm going to put like the entrance and stuff for the hotel though, because it's quite tight around here, there's not much space. I'll probably have to go here somewhere. But yeah, so that's the plan going forward with this part of the park. And obviously you've got the queue line and stuff, which is hasn't really been touched yet. There's a few plantings and trees and stuff in there, but the queue still needs work and stuff. But yeah, that was it for the hotel area. And then obviously as you move around here, this is going to be the entrance area for this green ride, which I still haven't named. I think I said I was going to call it like Extreme or something, but I'm not sure. I probably can come up with a better name. So hopefully something better for that soon. But yeah, so that the entrance will come around here, and this is like a lift for disabled people to access the ride. It's a little bit more easily than going down, so it's like a massive staircase and then going up all these stairs, and that's sort of encased in here. And also I need to build like a storage area for this ride as well. I've sort of like wedged myself in here. I don't really have much space to build a storage area, but I will try and get one in because it does need one. So it will somehow go here. Because like if you think about it, if I built the building here, like it wouldn't really interact with anything inside the Ghost Train. Like it wouldn't like purposely get in the way of one of like the tracks and stuff. So it could realistically go there, and there would be like space to set up like a maintenance bay and stuff. But yeah, so that's the plan going forward with this area. And then as we move over here, obviously I haven't done any work on this Larsen Looper. I was going to build like a big like fire thing on top of it and call it like the Ring of Fire, and like like the cool thing would be like the train going through the Ring of Fire, if that makes sense. But I've had one attempt so far and the fire looks awful, so I need to work out how I'm going to do that better, because I do want to put like a fire on top of it, because I think that would look really cool. But yeah, I'll get around to working out how that could probably be better implemented. And then lastly, obviously, the big thing for this episode was this 4D roller coaster, which again doesn't have a name yet and is very, very, very unfinished. I haven't done the seat rotations either yet, but I just thought I'd show you the layout anyway. So obviously you go down the big vertical drop, and you go over this weird half loop thing, and then you go into another one. This one is just like, this one doesn't rotate, it just goes over, and like you end up back on your front again. You're sitting down normally, and then you go into the inverted position in this element, which is like some weird overbank turn that turns as you go through the overbank turn. And then you go into some weird not even a 0G roll, just another weird turn that gets you back onto like sitting normally, and then you go back into another half loop, which takes you going back into being inverted again. And then you go around this bit here again, which gets you back down to sitting normally. So there's lots of changes, there's lots of places where you're sitting like in different positions and stuff, and then with the seat rotations it's just going to be like a crazy ride. And the way I plan to like sort of when all the supports and all the details for it are added, the thing should look really impressive, because it's a big ride, but I managed to fit it into like quite a tight space, into like a nice corner of the park. And then obviously you can see where I've like adjusted the terrain and stuff at the back of the park here. I want to keep adjusting the terrain, I want to keep going higher like as you go towards the back of the park, so it's going to be like a terrain park as well. At first it was going to be totally flat, but those sort of parks are just really boring, and the more you can do with the terrain, just the more fun parks look and the better they look, in my opinion. And especially with it being so compact, if I can include terrain, like a lot of terrain adjustments and stuff, I just think the whole thing will just look so much better. But yeah, so that's it. It took a while to get out this episode, I'm really sorry, I've been quite busy, but like I got like a decent amount, and I've pretty much just started a load of more stuff, and I still have like loads of stuff to go back and finish. So like I said, I think the next episode will just have to be like an episode where I just start finishing stuff up before I move on to any new rides. I still want to get I want to get one of those like robo arm dark rides in this area. I want to get a rapids in here as well, like in this area, and maybe like a log flume over here somewhere. I don't know, I want to fit everything in eventually. But yeah, so that's sort of it really for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back as soon as I can with something else. So thank you very much guys, and I'll see you very, very soon.